Welcome back, all you wonderful people, to the NFC predictions of sports essence. We have already done the AFC predictions. You can look back in our channel for those, and now we are on to the NFC. So just jumping right into it, we're jumping into the NFC East, which many have called one of the worst divisions in football, and I would agree. So moving forward, we're going to start off with the Washington football team. Still doesn't have a name. We're still rocking with Washington football team for another year. So be it. Here we go. So I have the Washington football team starting off at 8-9. So, not much of an improvement from last year. They're going to take care of their business against the Giants and the Eagles. They're going to sweep them on the year. And then we have them splitting with the Cowboys. So they're going to go 1-1. They're going to win their home game against the Cowboys. But they're going to lose some tough games. They have the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Seahawks all coming to town. Those are some brutal, brutal games, and they're going to lose all those. But they're gonna go on the road. They're gonna lose to the Cowboys, but they'll regain. They're gonna beat the Falcons, the Panthers, the Raiders. They're gonna lose to, but they're gonna also lose to the Packers. So yeah, they're gonna lose that game to the Raiders, but they're gonna regain, beat the Broncos, and they're gonna have to go into Lambeau, which is gonna be a very tough game against the Packers, and they're gonna lose that. The 17th game still hasn't been announced yet, but I feel like they're gonna drop that as well, which lands them at 8-9. Now, moving on to the Giants, I feel like they went out, they got Kenny Galladay, but they didn't really do anything else. And I went pretty harsh on the Giants. So I have them sitting at 1-16. I have them winning their only game at home against the Eagles, which I also went very hard on. I brutalized these two teams because I don't think they really did anything at all. So the Giants, they're gonna get swept by the Cowboys. They're gonna get swept by the Washington football team. They're going to lose to the Falcons, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Rams. They're only beating the Eagles. They're going to. Furthermore, they have to go into Tampa Bay, into New Orleans, into Kansas City, into the Chargers, even into Chicago. They're not winning those games. No way. I refuse to believe Daniel Jones is going to beat those teams. And it's just not going to happen. So So the next team we have up is the Cowboys at 9-8, and this I assume Dak Prescott is fully healthy, back to being Dak Prescott. They have a resurgent Zeke. So again, they're splitting with Washington. They're gonna win their home game. They're gonna lose on the road. They're sweeping the Giants. They're sweeping the Eagles. I believe I have them beating the Falcons, Panthers at home, and dropping to the Raiders at home. They're also going to beat the Broncos at home, but fall to the Arizona Cardinals at home. Going on the road, they're losing to Washington, but they're going to regain and beat the Giants and Eagles. They also have to go into New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Also have to go to Kansas City and Los Angeles to face the Chargers. They're not making it out with those games, but they will. Even going into Minnesota, they're not gonna beat the Vikings. But again, so I believe that puts them at 8-8, and with the 17th game to announce, they'll win that game and ends up taking the division just barely. And then we're gonna finish the NFC East with the Eagles, who I put also at 1-16. Their only game that they beat is they're going to beat the Giants at home. Uh, but they're going to fall to the Giants on the road. They're going to get swept by the Cowboys. They're going to get swept by the Washington football team. They're losing to the Niners. They're losing to the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, the Chargers. Same story as basically the rest of the division. They're not beating the Falcons at home. They're not beating the Panthers at home. They're not beating the Raiders at home. They're not going to beat the Broncos even or the Lions. they're not cutting it. The Eagles are going to be 1-16. Don't at me, JCat. That's all I have to say. Moving on to the NFC North, we're going to start off with the Packers, who are the perennial champions of this division, and nothing is going to change this year. As long as Aaron Rodgers keeps getting to play against the quarterbacks that get thrown against him 6 times a year, he's going to win that division, and it's not going to be a contest. So I have the Packers going a 14-3. Usually they're standard 13-3, but just tacking on an extra win when that gets announced because they will win it. So yeah, they're not going to lose a game at home. They're going to defend Lambeau. It's a very tough place to play. They're not dropping these games to the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings. They're going to beat some tough teams there, like the Rams, the Seahawks, the Browns, the Steelers, and also the Washington football team. Those are all going to be home wins. Those are all very difficult places to go in and get a win, and it's not going to happen this year, especially as the weather gets colder. They're just going to keep handing the ball off to Aaron Jones, and Devontae Adams is going to torch you on slants, and the defense is going to do just enough to survive, and that's all they need to do. Going on to the road, they're going to beat the Bears, they're going to beat the Lions, they're going to beat the Vikings. They're getting those easy wins there. They're just going to have some trouble when they have to roll into Arizona. They're not going to get that win. They have to go to they have to go to Baltimore. They're not getting that win. And they have to go to New Orleans. They're not going to get that win. But they will go into San Fran and Cincinnati and get wins over the 49ers and the Bengals. So, moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are going to be one of these mid-level teams. I have them going 6-11. So, they also have a very tough schedule. They're winning both games against the Lions, but they're losing both games to the Packers. They'll split, I believe, with the Bears. Whichever team's at home was going to win that game. And then they're going to lose home games to the Rams, the Seahawks, the Steelers, the Browns, but they will defend home and win against the Cowboys. But following up, they're going on the road to Arizona. They're going on the road to Baltimore, and they're not winning those games. They're going to lose some games that they shouldn't, though, losing to Carolina and the 49ers on the road. So, moving on to the Bears. The Bears I also have at 6-11. They did nothing to upgrade at the quarterback position. I feel like they should have given Mitchell Trubisky another chance, given him some more weapons, Tariq Cohen coming back maybe. But ultimately, the Bears are going to end at 6-11. Matt Nagy's going to get fired, and we're going to repeat this cycle all over again. The Bears, they're splitting with the Vikings. They're losing to the Packers, but they're beating the Lions twice a year. They're losing to the Cardinals at home. They're losing to the Ravens at home. But they will beat the Bengals and the Giants at home. But then they also have to go on the road to the Rams, the Seahawks, the Steelers, the Browns, and the Buccaneers. Those games are not going to go in their favor. And it's going to be another disappointing season for Chicago Bears fans. My apologies. That's just what it is. Finishing up the NFC North is the Detroit Lions. It's tough. They're not winning divisional games. They're going to be 0-6 there. They're losing twice to the Bears, the Packers, the Vikings. They're losing at home to the Cardinals. They're going to be losing, to the Ravens, to the Bengals. They will beat the Eagles and potentially the 49ers. Actually, nope, I lied. They're going to lose to the 49ers. I have the Lions finishing the season at 1-16 with their only win coming against the Eagles. They're going to lose they have to go to the Rams, to the Seahawks, to the Steelers, to the Browns, and they have to go down to Atlanta to play the Falcons. They're not winning those games. Now to the NFC South. We will start off here with the Falcons. Their first opponent that I have here is the Panthers. They're going to beat the Panthers at home. They're going to lose to the Panthers on the road. They're going to lose to the Saints twice this year. They're going to lose to the Buccaneers twice this year. They're going to lose to the Washington football team, but they will beat the Eagles, the Jets, and the Lions. However, they will drop a home game to the Patriots. And then going on to the road, they have to go, like I said, to New Orleans, to Tampa Bay. They're not going to win those games. They have to go to Dallas. They're not going to win that game. They have to go to Buffalo. They have to go to Miami. They're not going to win that, and they're probably not going to beat the 49ers in San Fran. But they do get to go play the Giants in New York, and they're going to win that game. So I have the Falcons finishing the season at 5-12. Moving on to the Panthers. The Panthers I have finishing the season at 4-13. Again, they're going to split with the Falcons, but they're going to lose 2 games to the Saints. They're going to lose 2 games to the Buccaneers. They're also going to lose to the Washington football team. They're going to lose to the New England Patriots, and they're going to lose at home to the Minnesota Vikings. But they will beat the Eagles and the Jets on the road, and they should be able to secure a victory against the Giants on the road. However, the rest of their away games, they will lose to the Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers, Cowboys. They have to go into Buffalo, into Miami, and they have to go to Arizona, and that's just not going to work out for them. It's going to be a disappointing year for the Panther organization. Moving on to the 2 Titans of the NFC South, the perennial Titans of the NFC South. The New Orleans Saints. Without Drew Brees, it doesn't matter. That team is built for success. Obviously not to the level they were at, but they are still going to be highly, highly competitive. I have the Saints sitting at 12-5. They are going to sweep the Panthers. They're going to sweep the Falcons. Unfortunately, I think they're going to lose twice to the Buccaneers, but they're also going to beat the Cowboys, the Giants at home. They're going to beat the Dolphins, the Bills at home. Unfortunately, I believe they are going to lose a home game to the Packers. The Packers are going to win that game. It's going to be a very close game. That's like one of those toss-up games, but it's going to come right down to it. Their away schedule, they're going to go into Carolina and Atlanta, get wins, but they're going to lose to the Buccaneers. They're going to get to go to Philly and Washington and get some wins. They get to go to New York and play the Jets, but they also have to go to New England, which they're not going to win that. And they have to go to Seattle, where they won't win that either. And then finishing up the division with the Super Bowl champion, NFC champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's another hot take for you. Games that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will lose this year, 0. They are going to run the table. They have the exact same team from last year, only with more experience and another year of Tom Brady and Bruce Arians' system. They're not losing. Doesn't matter. Write it down now. 17-0 season, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rack it. So that brings us to our final division. We have the NFC West on tap, and we're going to start off with the San Francisco 49ers. I have the 49ers going 7-10 this year. This division is absolutely loaded. I believe this is the best division in the entire NFL. And obviously not all 4 teams can win 10 games, so the 49ers are the clear weakest team here. So I have them at 7-10. I don't believe they're going to beat any of the Seahawks, Rams, or Cardinals. I think that's going to account for 6 of their losses. And then they also have to play the Titans. They're not going to beat the Titans in Tennessee. But I believe they will beat the Colts at home. They get to play the Texans. They get to play the Vikings. They will lose at home to the Packers, however, but they will beat the Falcons, and they're going to go on the road and beat the Detroit Lions. They probably will lose a close game to the Chicago Bears, but they get to go to Jacksonville and play that very young Jaguars team. So that lands them at 7-10 on the year. The rest of these teams are powerhouses. We're gonna start off with Seattle, which I have going 14-3. The only games that I have most of these teams going forward, Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams, Arizona Cardinals, I have them winning their divisional home game against each other and losing on the road. So that's where two of these losses are going to come from. They're going to lose to the Rams and the Cardinals on the road. They're also going to lose to the Packers on the road. So that is where those three losses come from, but they're going to beat they're going to be a good Titans team at home. They're going to be a good Saints team at home. And they're going to go on the road and beat the Colts. That's really the only noteworthy games there that they're going to win. Moving forward with the Rams, like I said, they're going to beat the Seahawks and the Cardinals at home. However, they're going to lose to them on the road. They're also, I believe, going to lose to the Packers at home. The Packers are going to defend home. And they're also going to lose to the Buccaneers at home. But they're going to beat the Vikings. They're going to beat the Texans. They're going to beat the Colts, the Giants, the Niners twice, the Lions, the Jaguars. It's not a bad schedule. They're going to beat the Bears at home. So that lands them at 13-4. And finishing up lastly with the Cardinals, that's going to put them at 14-3. So the Cardinals, again, they're losing to the Seahawks and the Rams on the road, and then they're going to lose. Let's see. They're also going to lose to the Titans on the road. The Titans are going to handle their business, but they will beat the Seahawks, Rams, Niners at home. They're going to beat the Packers at home, which will be great for them. They'll have some better, easier games against the Vikings, Texans, Colts, and Panthers at home. And then they're going to handle their business against the Niners. They're going to go beat the Lions. They're going to beat the Bears and the Jaguars and the Cowboys. So that is how I have this lining up for the Cardinals. Again, finishing them up at 14-3. Excuse me. So yeah, that NFC West is going to be a showdown all year long. And that is, it's going to be a treat to watch, I believe. So now with that's the conclusion of my picks for the NFC. Let's see what Mike has to say and go over and check out the next video for his